Hello and welcome to the newest episode of the Drive Home Podcast. I'm your host and I am simultaneously a bit upset but also excited because I just uncovered glorious information. So, last time, which I'm trying to not do that so much, but it happened. And it's fine because I have a reason. But that's not besides the point. But besides that point, let's drive this podcast home. So, before I get too deep into it, I had an okay day at work. I work till 8, and I'm going home, and I don't work tomorrow. But besides that, the more important point, last time I did this, I spoke about fantasy life. The girl who stole time, and how I was excited to play it at midnight, which was wrong. So I live in the eastern part. I have New York time, basically, I think. So I had to wait until 11 this morning to be able to play it. The sad thing is I was on Xbox, and for some reason on Xbox it was delayed. I don't know what reason it was, and I don't know when it came out because I had work. So even if the Xbox version had come out, I would have only been able to play for an hour, realistically. So, potato, tomato. But I'm on the Fantasy Life Discord, which is super active right now. And I asked, because I was leaving work, and I was like, is the Xbox version out yet? Or the early access? And they said yes, which makes me so excited. So I'm honestly just gonna go home and shower and party like it's 10 years ago again, or whatever. I don't really remember when the game came out. So it's kind of weird. I got Fantasy Life on a whim, kind of. I was in school, so I didn't really have a job at the time. But I think it was discounted maybe not discounted per se, but it was a 3DS game that had been out for a while. Maybe not a while, but far enough into the timeline, I guess, of the 3DS. So, and I can't even remember what 3DS games used to cost. Were they just literally $40 at base? That's crazy to think about now. Anyway, I either got it for $32-ish or like $40 at like a GameStop, and it might have been pre-owned. Because I liked the way it looked, the cover art, and I still have that case to this day. Though I do not have the cartridge itself, it is lost. Either I tried to get my brother to play it and he lost it along the way, or I got it back from him at some point and I lost it. But before the eShop went down, I got a digital version of it and re-bought the DLC at a different juncture for a different reason. Anyway, man, my history with Fantasy Life is kind of crazy. But, I don't know. So I have it digital. I have the original Fantasy Life digitally on my 3DS, and included with the deals, and with that is the DLC for it. So, just a couple things to go over. So, I had an original Fantasy Life save file. I accidentally deleted it because I didn't know what extra storage meant on the 3DS. So, on the 3DS, there are two ways for your cartridges to work. Your game cartridge can either house the data for the game itself, or your 3DS will create a, 13, it's not a giant amount, I don't think, ever, but, your 3DS can create, a small little packet of save data for you. But it's not called save data. That would be stupid. It's called extra space. And there's a limited amount of those you can have on the 3DS. Even the new 3DS XL, for some reason. They never decided to increase that. Or maybe they did increase it at some point, but still. My argument is that I needed space, and I don't remember how much I needed. It might have been a small amount. But regardless, I lost my original Fantasy Life save, which hurt me so much. But luckily, I love playing Fantasy Life. So, even though that sucked, I did get the chance to play it again. And then I don't really remember what exactly happened. But this could be a multitude of things, because I'm not entirely sure. So, at some point, my original 3DS, or my original 3DS XL, I guess, shut down completely, because I decided to play a weird... Well, it was the actual game. It was a Kingdom Hearts game on the Nintendo DS. My mother got it, and she wanted to play it, I think, or something, or she recommended it somehow. I don't really remember. Anyway, the only other game she ever recommended I play was Twilight Princess, and she didn't recommend I played it. She got it for herself when it first came out, and either she didn't get very far, or she just stopped doing it for one reason or another. I don't remember. Because she was a little bit of a gamer back in the day herself. She played the original Legend of Zelda, among other things. So that was really interesting to learn. But she didn't want me and my brother to play it at the time because we were young, and Twilight Princess was kind of more of a darker game, I guess. Even though it's still Nintendo. Anyway, eventually I got to play it, and it became my favorite Legend of Zelda game of all time, realistically. I love the characters in it. Zan's entertaining for what short amount of time he kind of exists. Midna is a really good design in both forms. Zelda, at least theoretically, does something, even though I don't think she's really shown to do much besides giving you the light arrows and some tips that one time, I guess. Ganondorf's dope. The story is really cool and interesting itself. Where, Link actually has reasons for starting out on his journey instead of just, doing stuff. And I actually inherited, in a sense, my mother's Wii remote. So she bought a Wii remote to play. It was a black one. And it's one of the older Wii remotes, so it doesn't have a Wii Motion Plus built into it. So it actually came with a black nunchuck and a black, Wii Motion Plus adapter thing, which you just plug into the bottom of the Wiimote, and you can plug in a nunchuck into that, but it allows you to have Motion Plus, I guess, which is really cool. I'm getting off track though. Anyway, so that Kingdom Hearts game was sticky sliding into my 3DS, which should have been an issue for me to clear up at some point, but I didn't, because I couldn't find out what was wrong with it necessarily. Anyway, it ended up, I guess, breaking my 3DS at the time. I literally couldn't interact with it, so the only thing I could do was take out the storage that was in it, because if I turned it on, it would like maybe be on for half a second before it went to the screen like error has occurred, and like I couldn't, like, you couldn't even get to the main screen. That was the problem. So like you couldn't interact with it at all, and you had to wait for it to die because there was no way for it to kill it. You could not kill the thing. You had to wait for it to die out. It's very annoying. Anyway, I think I still had my SD cards from back then, because that was a normal 3DS XL, I think. So, a while later, after I had my... So, I was going through storage, I guess, in a sense. And there's a chance that with my SD cards I actually had some kind of save data backup for Fantasy Life. Though I can't remember if that's true or not. I do know I replayed the game at least once, because I think I replayed it when I got the digital version on my new Nintendo 3DS. I think I did. Other than that, I just loved playing it. The really sad thing was that I lost access to my Nintendo Network ID. It wasn't mine. My mother made it for me because I was too young or whatever at the time. But I needed one so I could buy stuff on the eShop or whatnot. Whenever that was a thing I wanted to do. And I lost a decent amount of games, so I didn't buy them back before the eShop went down. On my new one. For my 3DS that died. And I lost access to the content. But that did give me the chance to figure it out myself. My mother had been so set up. She had been stuck in setting it up for me, that when I finally got my new one, because my other one like actually broke and there was nothing to transfer to make it easy, she just forgot about it, and I got to set it up, which meant that I just made my own Nintendo Network SSID or whatever, which was great. Because that means I had, like, actual control of it. It is weird how they will always restrict connecting to the internet or to new internet devices on the Nintendo 3DS by, that is something you cannot let your kid do for some reason on the 3DS in any capacity. Like, if you go into the parental controls and literally let your kid have access to basically everything on the Nintendo 3DS, it will still require you to enter your parental controls PIN to connect to a new internet or whatever, or to use the internet box in the settings. What do I eat for dinner? I need to make something that'll easy and quick to make, and I don't know, I'll figure it out. Anyway, I get to play Fantasy Life I tonight, so I'm super excited. Unless if that person was lying to me, in which case I'll be very upset. Anyway, it's been, I guess, 9 hours about since it was supposed to come out. So, and I'm talking about the early access, not the game itself. So, Switch players, sorry, you're out of luck. I honestly can't wait. I'm so excited. I could totally wait, but not waiting seems like the thing to do, unless if something comes up. But I'm super excited. I honestly cannot wait. Speaking of things that can't wait, I do need to go look into getting a new job at that place that's close to where I live. So, I think it would probably be best if I do that tomorrow. Because, like, if I can get an interview at least before summer starts, in its fullness of summer, that would be great. Solidify, hopefully, a chance before people get out for the school year, because, you know, people learn stuff to get jobs, and it's a full-time job, so, and hopefully, personally, I can get night shift. I'm good at staying up at night. Plus, I like sleeping during the day. And, knowing me, I'd wake up relatively quickly enough and have a decent amount of morning time to do whatever. Plus, it basically lets me eat cereal at any time of the day, which just, for me, sounds awesome. The only downside is that I usually the freest time for my friends would be at night, which isn't always the case, but I mean, I have to even get it, so, you know, there's a chance I'll just fail and they don't want me, but I'd like to hope that I have a chance. I'm optimistic-ish. I'm relatively pessimistic, but for this, I'm kind of optimistic. The only downside about that is I'll have to figure out what to rename this podcast, because I am not wasting gas on this podcast. And it's literally like 5 seconds away. But, yeah, no, it's something to think about. I mean, the good thing about me not having to record this podcast in my car would be, you know, you guys don't have to suffer with, like, the kind of really bad audio. I've tried listening to some of these, and it's terrible. Like, I either have to talk louder, which I don't love doing, or I gotta just figure out how to make my phone record better. Because I thought it would be recording through my earbuds, but it's not, even though they have a mic. Anyway, I just got home, and I'm super excited, so I'm going to go do all the things I need to do to go play it. Anyway, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Drive Home Podcast. If you liked it, feel free to leave a like. If you don't have to. I do appreciate you all listening to this episode, and, right. I keep missing the order and forgetting some of the steps for this, because I keep adding some on. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode, blah, 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 blah. I hope you all have a great next 24 hours. And as always, I'll see you next time I drive this podcast home. See you in the next one.